Hello, hello. This is Gina from Gina Dallison Coaching on episode 10 of the Healing Vibrations podcast. This is about changing the perception of illness to see it as a gift. And today I'm really excited to be joined by Helena Knight. Now, Helena Knight, I met in my online MS group, Managing MS Naturally. So if you're not in there, come along to our Facebook group and have a look. And I met Helena and we connected a couple of times, and she's just an incredible, if somewhat crazy person who is living with MS, but certainly doesn't let that define her or stop her living an amazing life. And I like the idea of MS being a gift. And when I spoke about that, Helena said, that's how I see it too. So I just had to have her on here. So Helena, hi.
Hi there. Hi.
And tell everybody a little bit about, because you're from the UK as well. So tell us a little bit about what
I certainly am from the UK. Again, I've had a journey when it comes to where I've been living. I was born in Yorkshire. I then moved to Warwickshire with my then partner. That was in 19, oh God knows now, that was about 1981, something like that. And that was in Kenilworth. And we were together for quite a long time. And then I was working in the construction industry at the time. I, would you believe, sold bricks for a living. That was just the best job ever, really seriously was. But then it all went a bit, dare I say, tits up in the late 80s. And of course, we had this big recession. So I thought, I'm not going to stay here and just ride out the recession. So I said to my then partner, Chris, come on, do you fancy going off on a trip, go around the world, whatever? So I said, yeah, sure. So that's what we did. So we spent 13 months going around the world.
Wow.
We touched India, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, then on to Australia, New Zealand, and then back via sort of Mexico, the US and Canada. So we're literally, in fact, it's ironic because it was just 30 years to the day recently that I came back. In fact, the day was actually a leap year day, so I didn't have to, remember it much. Much for 4 years. That's good enough. But yeah, that's like say 30 years ago. But on coming back, we'd been looking at a property before we flew out because I really, really wanted to start a tea rooms, and that was my passion really, because I love baking. I don't like eating cake. I'm very fussy about what I eat, so that we'll come on to that. But I love baking cakes. I love just like catering for people. I'm a bit of a feeder, really. I don't eat myself, I'm a feeder. So the property that we'd looked at prior to going away, was still on the market. So we negotiated. The bottom line is we won the day, and I established this tea rooms. And within 12, 18 months, I won awards with it. God knows what. So that was just another brilliant time. The downside of that was, of course, Chris and I split. And then I met somebody else who just happened to be my food hygiene inspector. You couldn't make it up, could you? Seriously. So, I mean, I was with him 16 years, but I had a child by him. And that's when MS came into my life, because we moved away to Worcester, lovely city, really lovely city. And I duly had my son 3 weeks later. And then about 7-8 months after that, we were on holiday, and I'm getting all these tinglings in my legs and all sorts. And I was thinking, it's nothing. So I never thought anything about it at the time until another 6-7 months later, it's all started again, only worse this time. And then I lost the sight in my eye, and that turned out to be optic neuritis, which is commonplace for multiple sclerosis. So I just dealt with it. I never thought anything other than, oh my God, I moved away, just got married, just had a newborn baby. I knew nobody in Worcester, really, apart from the lovely people that I met at the mother and toddler groups, and they really saved the day for me. They did. And it's all about friends, that's the main thing when it comes to multiple sclerosis. And for me, the best thing about multiple sclerosis is the friends that I've made. So, but anyway, the marriage ended and I came back up here, and sadly my son stayed down there. That's another story, but I'm not going to bore you because it's too sad. But I mean, it's all positive now, really positive. Good. But that was quite a journey, I can tell you.
I bet.
Yeah. So just the whole process of getting MS, and that was a real shock, because
So what year did you get diagnosed?
That was 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, because Bertie was born in 1998. So I got first symptoms in 99, and then I got the worst symptoms in 2000. That's when I was officially diagnosed. In fact, I told them what I'd got. I didn't ask them to tell me what I'd got, because I saw a doctor, and she's a sweet thing she was. I think she was fresh out of the polythene bag, to be honest. And I told her exactly what had happened to that point. And she said, well, Mrs. Knight, what do you think you've got? I said, well, it's going to be one or two things. I said, it's either a brain tumour. I said, and I know it's not that. Had it been that, they'd have whipped me straight into hospital, obviously. But they didn't, they just messed around. So I said, no, I think I've got multiple sclerosis. Now, that was the first time those words had ever passed my lips. But it was all there in my head.
So you'd done your own research, had you?
Yeah, no, not really. The reason I said that, and this is amazing campaign by the MS Society back in the day, and I can still see it now. It was a big poster of a beautiful lady, but just a back, a real cello-shaped back. It's in black and white, and like the spine had just been ripped out. It was like a paper rip right down the spine, and that had lived with me for a long time before I actually got the disease. Wow. And it's like, yeah. So it was a good thing, wasn't it? Good old MS Society. And my friends, my older friends that have got multiple sclerosis, they can remember it. Not many can, but I can.
No. It was probably before. I wasn't taking a notice. I'm a little bit younger than you, but yeah, it's so in 2000, I was in 2000. I was clubbing. So I was but yeah, probably it was 2008 that I was diagnosed, or 2009.
Right.
But I'd had symptoms when I look back. I'd probably had symptoms back to then as well, but they were only I got numbness in my feet. I knew it didn't feel right. Yeah. I knew there was something a bit off, but they just, when the neurologist does that thing on the bottom of your foot with the yeah, exactly. And all he was doing, I was going back in, and he was to get me to walk up and down. He was doing this thing with my feet and tapping my reflexes. And I just thought, I'll just live with the numbness. He was just sending me away, come back another 6 months, and then so in the end I just thought, you know what, I'll do one, and it seemed to disappear. But MS can do that, can't it?
Of course it can.
Yeah, it can.
I mean, I was relapsing, remitting. I'm now saying progressive, but I've had it, like say, 22, 23 years. But during the relapsing, remitting stage, I barely relapsed. Just a handful of times, really. And several of those were when I got double vision, and they were all brought on by my ex. So I can honestly say that he was one man that could make me physically ill. So, yeah. But
yeah, well, that's a stress thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, a stress thing. Yeah. So, but it's interesting. MS, you read your body, don't you? You kind of know what's coming, or just when to slow down, or when to pick up the pace, or just to be honest, that's the gift for me, and I'm still learning it. I'm still because there's, you seem pretty similar to me. You're high energy, you like to do exciting stuff. We don't want to, we don't want to. People like you and I, MS. It seems to go for people that lived a pretty
colourful,
sharp lifestyle.
Yeah, maybe there's. And I think, and certainly we're not taught, are we, to listen to our bodies? No. At no point in anybody's growing up time is when even if we fall over and hurt our knee, does anybody say, well, just sit quietly, listen to your body. What is it telling you need right now? It's just like, well, no, it doesn't. We're taught very much that we go to the doctors and the doctor fixes our problems. And And unfortunately with MS, they can't fix the problem.
No, they can't. That's the
they
truth,
can try,
isn't it?
but they don't. Yeah.
Don't go there.
Well, no, that's it.
Onto another subject, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
just like, I know they can slow it down, but it's not fixing it, is it?
No, because they don't. Nobody knows the root cause.
No, they don't. I mean, there's all sorts of sort of anecdotal evidence of all sorts. Like, for example, this is strange because I was vegetarian for years and years and years and years. Then I met my husband, who came from the meat industry, before I knew him. And he was a meat and two veg man. So I then went back to eating meat. And lo and behold, what do I get? Multiple sclerosis. I met a gentleman not that long ago, and his mother had MS, and she lived until she was in her 80s. But he said to me that when she first was diagnosed, somebody said to her, become vegetarian, and she did, and she survived till she was in her 80s. So good news for me.
well, yeah. So you're back veggie again, are you now?
I am. Well, I've never been anything other than veggie. No, mainly because the times that I have eaten meat, I've choked.
Oh,
like
really?
In a scary,
Oh, it's your
way,
body totally telling you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scary.
Yeah.
So, and because I live alone now, it's like I daren't do it.
No,
and even when I go out to eat, I don't eat meat when I'm out, but I still feel very conscious of what, when I'm swallowing and if I'm going to choke. I did it recently.
That can be. Yeah, well, that can be an MS thing as well, can't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Not being able to swallow, so it's definitely something to be aware of, I guess.
Very aware, very aware.
So going back to when you were, you diagnosed yourself. So what was your doctor's response when you said that's what you thought it was?
I think she was quite new to being a doctor. She didn't balk from it at all. It was my ex-husband that I felt most sorry for because he just went ashen. Bear in mind, we just got married or recently got married, just had a son and just moved away as well. And I just left my business and all my family and friends in Kenilworth. So that was a pretty tough time, I can tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
At the end of the day, it was my friends that rallied round and they saved me. I had a friend in particular whose mum used to drive all the way from Meriden, near Solihull, pick me up in Worcester and take me out. She didn't know me from Adam. I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
But isn't that interesting? Because I've heard from other people that actually some people find that when the opposite's true, that friends stop calling and stop. Well, I haven't found that either. I think we just must be have good friends or made good choices in our earlier life because
absolutely.
And I think by the time you get to a certain age, so I'm in my 50s now, and the chances of getting through this far in life and not having anything go wrong with your body is is pretty unique. And although people quite often sort of I get that feel sorry for you face if I tell them what's wrong with me, but I just think. But yeah, I've got friends that have had to have hip replacements and, had other issues with their body and they can't walk very well either. And so you don't have to have an autoimmune disease to have challenges in life, do you?
You don't. You're right. My friend Heather, here, local to me, she's having a new knee on the 17th. But we go walking together. She walks probably worse than I walk. So the difference is I've got a seated walker now. It's a beautiful carbon fibre one, and she's amazing. I call her Tilly. She's named after my friend. Also's got the same version, same colour, but hers is called Matilda. So my Tilly is daughter of Matilda. But she's one of the most amazing women that I know.
That's an electric walker, is it?
No. Got to walk with her.
No.
She's amazing. Though. A lot of time, it's not even about the walking. It's almost like pushing a trolley in the supermarket because that, I've got that support. I can hold on to that, yeah. But this one's got a seat on it. So last summer, I was walking on the canal, which I do regular if I can, and there's lots of seats there. but they were all full, and by the time I'd got to a certain point,
you need a little rest
going
up there,
further. So then I got Tilly, and she's amazing. Wherever I've been, she's opened my world. I've been to Liverpool with my other MS friend Tracy. I've been to Birmingham to see Genesis. I've been down to see my son for sort of a week or so, and I just put in a taxi, jump on a train, off I go.
Well, that's really interesting. That's really interesting how you talk about that so lovingly, really, because I was talking to a guy because I went swimming this morning. And,
good for you.
Well, yeah, and I did have to force myself a little bit because my walking is feeling quite laboured at the moment. And I'm like, oh God. But it also, when I go swimming, it's like I get to wash my hair. It's like an much easier way of washing my hair because I've got all the But there was a guy in there who actually said to me, okay, it might have been a bit of a chat of line, but I took it as a big fat compliment. You know, you have to take these things when you can. He said, you're like a gazelle in the water, aren't you? He goes, I saw you walking in. So then we had the MS discussion. But then he told me that he'd been in the forces way back when they used to, you know, have big boots on and carry big rucksacks and all the rest of it. And his knee cartilages are just wrecked. So, and he goes, it's not as bad as you. And I was like, yeah, it probably is as bad. It's probably worse because at least I'm not in pain.
Exactly, I was going to say, I bet he had pain with his.
Well, yeah, that's it. So it's quite interesting. But I thought I'll take a gazelle in the water. Thank you very much. I'll do that.
Yeah, I was an ex-swimmer because I was just outside the Olympics in 1976. So I was a butterfly swimmer. So
I haven't done that one yet. I've only just got my head around the crawl, and that's taken a couple of years.
Bless you.
But yeah, I can do it now.
I don't swim very often these days, probably because just to get into the pool, to get undressed, get changed again, get in the pool and swim, do the reverse, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, well, that exactly that I'm sort of beating myself up a bit because last week I was away. I'd been on a bit of a road trip. I don't know if you saw, but I was down in the Isle of Wight, and down in Southampton, which was lovely. Yeah. But I beat myself up a little bit because I went to all those beaches and I didn't get in the sea once. And I didn't even paddle. And it was the same thing. It was that once you're in and once you've got, but it's cold water as well. You're coming out of cold, so it's but it's just all that. Oh yeah, but then I've got to get my feet clean, and when you can't even lift your leg very well, it's like yeah.
But it's like I don't swim anymore, but I do go to the gym. I try and go at least 2 times a week, if not 3. But I work really hard at it. We've got this scheme here in Bradford. I'll show you this. You see that?
Oh yeah, beep.
And that's Bradford encouraging exercise on prescription. So for me, that's my drug.
Oh, brilliant.
On prescription. Well, that brings us on by the local MS Society, because we've got a massive legacy from a lady who's sadly passed. She lived in Ilkley. We used to have a group here in Keith. It doesn't exist anymore. So now between us, Bradford and Craven shared the vast sum of money. Well, no, that's not true. The MS Society have got the money. We just get a bit of it. But, we've put it to something very, very, very useful. Yeah. It's not even about want, it's about need. We all need exercise. So we can all get in on this big car for nothing now. Yay!
Wow, that's a good, because we've got a local MS Society here as well, and they've just reopened because they were doing a what's it called? Seated Pilates class. Now it's seated yoga, seated yoga, but we do have to pay for it. They subsidise it.
Brilliant.
But yeah,
I've just done that as well.
Yeah, well, this is it, and there's also a local seated exercise class that's not run through the MS Society, but again, it's there are things out there, aren't there?
Of course there are.
It's getting yourself out there, and I think one of the things you said when you talked about the MS being a gift was like the people that you meet.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because I was walking back to the changing rooms the other day, and a lady that I met prior to that, which was with another lady, she was walking back down the corridor to go out of the building, and she was just saying, well, that lady's got MS and she doesn't take drugs, like some sort of hero figure. I'm not a hero figure. I didn't ask for MS, but I'll take it.
So have you never taken any medication then?
Hell no.
No. So was that a choice right from the beginning, or was it an office? Yeah.
No. I was never offered them, actually. And I think I made it very clear right from the get-go that I wasn't interested in taking drugs.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
And
I can heal myself. Well, I can't heal myself, but I know this much. Drugs are just a poison. I'll tell you a story now, just to give you a heads up on what's happened to me over this last 6 to 8 months. As like I say, I don't take drugs, but what I do is eat really, really well. I mean, I don't even eat processed foods, you know. So, but I took my first COVID jab. That night, I could not get warm. I was absolutely shaking like a leaf, freezing. But on top of that, I couldn't even get up. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. I could do nothing. So I had to crawl to the toilet, to the bathroom. So that happened overnight. And I think, oh, Lord. Anyway, eased off by the morning. I got a shitty headache. So then I took whatever, which is the only thing that I ever take. You know, I don't get headaches as a rule. I never get them. So luckily I got some paracetamol. So anyway, I took that, or ibuprofen, whatever. The next time it happened, I got 2 UTIs in a fairly quick succession. So, of course, I ring the GP, sends me, because it's in lockdown, so I sent me drugs over. So I duly took the drugs, what are they called?
Antibiotics.
That's the one. Yeah. Once I start thinking, I think, I don't know, I can't remember. You've told me, thank you. But anyway, same thing happened again. You know, last time was vomiting all over the place, just couldn't get warm. I had absolutely no strength. I literally got my hot water bottle with me. I got it under my arms because I lived in a house with steps. And I couldn't even get the hot water bottle up the steps. I dropped it and I couldn't even get down to pick it up.
Oh no, I know, I feel you. Yeah.
I couldn't stand, I could do nothing. But it's like I knew I still existed, but it's like I was in a parallel universe because I knew I was here. Apart from that, I couldn't say what I was doing. It was just awful, just absolutely hideous. And I kind of, by the 3rd time, thought, I kind of know what this is all about. So I rang my MS nurse, Marie. She's a lovely girl. She said, I thought I won't lead her on this one. I just told her what had happened to me. She just went, do you know what I think it is, Helen? I went, go on then, Marie, tell me. She said, I know how well you look after your body. I said, yeah. She said, I think your body thinks because you took the drugs, you've poisoned it. And I think she's exactly right, because I knew that in my own mind, I knew that. But the fact that she knew that was the case. Yeah,
she thought that as well. It's sort of validated, yeah.
Meanwhile, she's tip-tapping on her laptop, no doubt to send something to my now neurologist, my latest neurologist, Dr. Spilker. Is a great guy, he's brilliant. But he's now trying to get me on this drug. It's called, let me tell you, I've just written it down. Saponimod, just for secondary progressive. But I'll tell you this much, the side effects are just bloody awful. That simple. So
yeah, it's just like, and it's not guaranteed, is it?
No,
guaranteed.
So I'm going to slow it down, isn't it?
Well, you know, hopefully that's the best that you can hope for.
Yeah.
And
but
I know
the side effects are just gross, they are.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they're massively like strong drugs that they, people, it kills down their kidneys, and so long-term effects. I mean, I'm with you, and this isn't about saying the right or wrong way to go, because everyone has their own journey, and
of course we do.
Totally respect that. But I agree totally. I think I did start taking Avenex, which was a weekly injection. Yeah, when I first got diagnosed, because I had 2 episodes in a short period.
Oh, right.
But mainly really to appease my then partner, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because he was frightened, he took it worse than I did. In fact, all of our arguments were over the way I dealt with my MS and the way he felt I should be dealing with it. And but there you go, he's not my partner anymore, so it's fine.
Well, I had the same thing though, because my ex-husband, he just walked away from it, really, mentally, certainly. So for 16 years, I just had a non-marriage, you know?
Yeah.
No conversation about anything, and he never came with me if I needed to go see the
he never came with me. We did have conversations, but the conversations were always in an argument form, or mainly. And
that's not good for your stress levels, is it?
No, not at all. And he never came with me to anything either. Actually, looking back, he never did. So he didn't really. Yeah. But anyway, it's like I'm better out of it. We get on all right now. We've got
good stuff
and stuff, so it's fine. But I agree with the drug thing. I think when the Avonex sort of stopped working, or I just got, started to get a bit more progressive. I was noticing things. They wanted to offer me something stronger, which I can't remember the name of, but it was a daily tablet rather than
right. That's probably a bit like the one my friend's just been offered. She's on, what's the big one that's going on at the minute? I
don't know. I can never remember the names.
I can't talk about it often, but
yeah,
she's had it for a long time, but she's only fairly recently been diagnosed. But so she was on it, because she would go on the same route as you and I. And in fact, she's following the OMS diet. On top of that, it's kind of rubbish, because she now is doing the Ocrevus.
Right, yeah. So is that the
it's almost like that was pushed onto her. It's the same with Dr. Spilker sending my MS nurse up to see me about this drug. They wanted me to go on. So I sat her down on the chair and I looked at her straight in the eye and said, "Go on then, Marie, sell it to me." She just looked at me. She went, "What?" I said, "Sell it to me." She went, "You're not going to do it, are you?" I said, "What do you think?" She said, "You're not, are you?" I said, "No, I'm not."
No, I know. I'm pretty similar. My neurologist, as lovely as he is always trying to push one drug or other on me, whether it's for the overactive bladder drug or whether it's for a drug modifying treatment. And I even sent him a letter and suggested that he read a book by Lisa Rankin called Mind Over Medicine, which is all about the mind-body connection, the placebo, and maybe we could talk about, because what I would really like is to have somebody who knows about neurology and understands, the workings more than I do, but is also open to.
Does anybody understand it? Even in neurologists, I don't know.
But just have somebody that would be open to actually, it doesn't have to be through the medication route, which
I agree. I do. And it's amazing how many people see it the way we do. Some people with MS and some people that not. Like, for example, the people that I know from the gym that I go to, one in particular, I used to swim with her actually when I met her not that long ago. I've not met her for about 30 odd years, so it's like big hugs and like, yay. Yeah. But she sort of works in the gym, and she was telling me recently that she's got a really good friend who's also got MS, and he's a similar age to me, in his 60s. And she said, "He's like you. I was talking to him about you." I said, "Why is that?" She said, "Because he doesn't take drugs either." I said, "Really?" She said, "No." She said, "Do you know what he did when he was working?" I said, "Go on, tell me." She said, "He was a doctor."
Oh, wow.
Says it all, doesn't it? Says it all.
Yeah, quite interesting. Yeah, well, it is interesting. And I think at least we know now that whatever's going on is because it's our body, not because of because you never know, is it the medication or is it the what is it? And I'm with you as well with regarding to trying to eat as healthy as possible and to do as much exercise as possible, and to get your mindset in a nice place, and just decide that you're going to have a great life irrespective of anything really. But the idea, because I was read a post yesterday actually from somebody who posted about MS, and it was one of these big long ones that talked about all the things. I'm MS and I'm going to do this to you and that to you and that to you. That. Did you see it? And I was just like, well, that's not really, because it made it seem like MS was this big monster that has just attached itself to you. It wasn't going to leave no matter what, and it was just going to make your life an absolute misery. And it's just like, well, if you think of it like that, then that's sort of how it's going to pan out.
My first years when I had MS, I mean, my son was only young, and I can't tell you how many hills I walked up and how many roads I was walking down. But not only that, with the boy strapped to my back.
Well,
like, I never let it stop me. Why would I?
No, well, this is it. If you one of my coaches once said, and it's the line stuck with me, if you can, you must. So if like, you know, because it does have that there is, I mean, it's, you know, there is that little mindset thing of like, well, I might not be able to do this tomorrow. There's always that bit, you know, I might not be able to get out of bed tomorrow.
I agree.
So if I can get out of bed. And interestingly, when I was talking about my ex, and he said, well, you know, what happens if you end up in a wheelchair? We need to start thinking about that. And I was like, no, we don't. Well, you know, if I end up in a wheelchair, I'll deal with it.
And bungalow from day one. I live in a house with 2 sets of stairs. My choice. It's like I say about the drugs thing. It's like my body, my choice.
Yeah.
I'm not being foisted on me. I'm not.
Well, that's it. And I think quite often, especially in this, well, certainly in the UK with the wonderful NHS, is that we get something wrong with us, and then we just listen blindly to the doctor. And that was definitely what I was doing to start with, even though I didn't really want to. And to be fair, I didn't get any major side effects that I know about, and you know, it seemed to do what it needed to do. But then when they offered me these stronger meds, and they sent me a little glossy brochure, as they do, and in the first paragraph it says, we don't know why this works.
Right, okay.
I was like, right, okay, that's not really singing it to me, and no, thank you. And by that point, I'd already learned about the mind-body connection. I'd read the Overcoming Multiple Sclerosis book by George Jelinek, and yeah, absolutely. And that just gives you, and he's not the only person who's out there living symptom-free, you know, without having to take a myriad of medications. So I know it's possible. It is possible to heal ourselves. I don't know quite how to do it, but it's almost like, well, that belief makes me feel so much better, so much more in control, so much more empowered, rather than, oh my God, we've got this thing that's like been put upon us, and there's nothing that we can do, and it's incurable, and it's going to get worse, and these things that you're told by, you know, these well-meaning doctors who don't live in your body and don't know about you. No.
I mean, I try to avoid it, to be fair. I do. I've only ever had, in my 23 years, only had 3 MRI scans. And that's because I'm not on drugs. Because they scan you because they want to double check just to see.
Well, this is it. And it's
progressed or not. But
it's quite interesting because I had an MRI. So I'd been off the medication for about, I don't know, 3 years. Then I had an MRI. And then I had a letter from my neurologist, or from his partner, I think it was, who I've never met. He'd said, yeah, we've done an MRI and there doesn't seem to be any further progression. The Avonex seems to be doing its job, this drug that I haven't been taking for the last 3 years.
Really?
So no further changes. I was like, oh, well, so there's a couple of points there. Is this even my MRI? And another point of, yeah, great. But I was still seeing symptoms. So I don't know if the MRI gives a good reflection anyway.
There's so many symptoms anywhere with MS. It's not just 1 or 2 symptoms. I mean, I have none in my spine. All mine's in the brain.
Yeah.
I know I've got a great lesion on the back of my brain. That's the one that's really affecting my balance. But I'm still standing. And I'm not one of these 1, 2, 3 floor like a lot of people. So, and I know people that have got it real bad, like my darling friend Sarah, but you will never ever meet a more sweet, lovely, happy person than Sarah. But she can barely walk, God love her. And I lost a friend 2 years ago now, just 2 years, because it was just after my dad died. And Paul, and he was wheelchair bound, he had to be hoisted into bed. And he was married to my friend, and she's got MS too, so it's a household with 2 MSs.
Wow.
But you wouldn't meet anybody more sweet and lovely and jolly and funny than Paul. We used to go to these MS do's, you know, be up on the dance floor in his wheelchair, just spinning around, laughing. And to me, I think about Paul, and I think, do you know what? What a lovely man. You meet some people that are fully able-bodied, they're nothing like as nice as Paul.
No, I think
just miseries.
Yeah, and do you think that's sort of part of, if you sort of take the MS as a gift, as a bit of a, we just, it's almost stopping you taking for granted your body.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. So therefore, you know, it does make, you know, I probably wouldn't be not that I'm doing massive amount of exercising, but I'm probably doing more than I would have been if you know, I hadn't got MS, because it's that sort of forces me to keep going, because I want to keep going. Because
yeah, see, I've never done the gym, but see that?
Yeah, a gym bunny.
My son's girlfriend bought me that the other day. She says, only a special, I thought she knows me too well. So but yeah, I think MS has brought a lot into my life, and real lot of good things. But yeah, I was out with my mum and my son and his girlfriend and my niece on Sunday last week, because I give myself a treat every week. And my friend's also got a coffee shop, makes the most amazing cakes, and that's the only place I'll eat cake. Go to number 10 Claire's, and my niece was there, and then she just started making, I didn't have Tilly with me, and she was making really nasty, spiteful remarks about Tilly. And I thought, do you know what? You're only 26, 27. Who knows? I was 39 when I got MS, 40 in fact. You might get it. You might end up with a wheelchair or some sort of walker or anything, you know. So don't have a, you know, go at me, because I'm not ashamed. It was almost like she was ashamed that I got a Tilly.
Yeah. Well, I was going to actually point out, because I think you have been talking so positively about your walker is really cool, because one of the things, I was talking to this guy in the swimming pool, because he said, I'm meant to have leg braces. He goes, but I don't wear them. He goes, because basically he's embarrassed, because he goes, people don't, you get all that, oh, poor you. He goes, what he said is, you could walk around with a knob stuck on your face and they wouldn't notice, because all they see is your legs. So I sort of did it on it, and I said, well, I have to use a stick now, and I understand what you're saying, because it was you know, it was a challenge to get over it mindset wise when you first use a stick, because you're just showing that actually something's wrong. But in my experience, people are really kind, and yeah, they might sort of over pander a little bit. Oh, are you okay? But that's better than shoving past you and like knocking your
The interesting thing is, with Tilly, people are interested in me, but they're more interested in Tilly. So I've been out walking and they sort of stopped me and said, oh, that's amazing. My mother-in-law could do with something like that, or my sister, or whoever. And where did it come from? When, you know, and so I should be a salesperson for Bioga.
Yeah, you should. Maybe you could start a new job, go from selling bricks to selling Tillies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Go to Denmark, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be well
Denmark's
cool.
a great country. Yeah. I'm not going to Norway at the minute though. I don't think. Too close to Russia. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Oh yeah, there's all that crazy stuff going on as well.
I know.
So it's really good to see that you've really embraced having it, and because I'm using 2 sticks at the moment when I'm out and about. Well, if I'm walking the dog, I go 2 sticks. If I'm walking out in town and I'm with somebody, I use 1 stick and that person, which is quite nice. But yeah, the walker. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like embracing it, isn't it? You said that it's open. It's just made life easy for you.
Absolutely. It's like it's opened my world up. It's made it easier. It's just I can do things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing.
It was quite interesting, because when I was in the Isle of Wight with my friend, we went to Osborne House, where Queen Victoria lived. Yes, and you could go around the house and the grounds and whatever. And he said, do you want a wheelchair? So I don't think I'm ready for that. And my friend Michelle looked at me, she goes, well, I think you might be, because there's quite a lot of walking to do, you know. So and that felt a little bit, and bless her, because she's had quite a bit of experience. She cared for a mum, so she sort of knows how to handle a wheelchair. So I was in safe hands. But yeah, she was right. It made it much more enjoyable than I would have done if I tried to walk all the way over to the house around. So it's just.
It's not about the distance, is it? You just get to that point where you just know you need to sit down.
Yeah, and actually having somewhere to sit.
Yeah. Because Tilly's carbon fibre, so I just walk around. you know, just
Oh,
pick her
right.
up. I've got steps outside my house, and yeah, so she's perfect for me.
Cool.
So, and
So
she's
what?
quite sexy. She's beautifully designed. You know, she's
Yeah.
really sleek and stylish. Yeah, very aerodynamic.
Oh, yes, darling, your new partner.
Oh, darling. And she's racing car red as well.
Oh, very nice. Very
Yes,
nice.
beautiful. Do you want to look at her?
Yeah, let me look at her then.
Folded
Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, still folded up.
Yeah, hang on, I'll just put you down. I'll open her up.
Oh, look at this. We're getting a treat here.
See that now? I'll just turn it round. My phone, that is. Can I do that on this now?
I don't know.
Oh, can you see it now?
Oh, yeah. A bit lower. That's it. Perfect. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Wow, thank you. And how much did Tilly cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
So much. No, not too much. She's worth every penny. I think I paid about top 600, about 680 for her.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I think
If
actually,
you're going to buy something, it's going to cost you, isn't it? Regardless. So I'd rather pay a bit extra for something special, extra special.
yeah, definitely. And it also might be worth tapping into the MS Society, because I know the local MS Society can sometimes give out grants for people.
They do.
So,
I think another friend of mine's done exactly that to get a Tilly.
Yeah, so it's definitely worthwhile. And I think that whole, so did you have any bit of you that was sort of reticent about getting a walker?
Yeah, definitely. Until I got her. When she arrived on the doorstep in a box, you know, with Viagra on it, it's like, oh, rapper. So simple. But yeah, I know what you're saying, because a bit like what Louise said about, you know, I know that she thinks it's ridiculous that I've got this walker. In the same way, I think it's ridiculous that I've got multiple sclerosis. And I didn't choose it, did I? But I did choose Tilly.
Yeah, and actually, if that
for
makes
the right reason as well.
Yeah, and then you're, like you said, it's opened your world up.
Oh, massively.
And that's totally worth it. And it's
so starting to make plans for other trips now. You see, me and Tracy in particular.
Yeah,
she's got a handful, because she's a bit younger than me. She's about 44, but bless her, she's got a son, and is 8 now, 9. I was thinking it might be 10, but sadly Struggles is autistic, and you know, it puts her through a lot of not grief, but hard work. He's a very hard work, but he's a lovely lad. I adore him, but
it just makes life a little bit harder,
absolutely,
doesn't it?
Absolutely. But she loves Tilly too. So
excellent. And I think also, I don't know about you, but having MS, because there was a little while, so when I had a flare up, when I split up from a partner and I was going through some life stuff, so that was about 2016. So I didn't drive because I had numbness on my feet and I couldn't feel the pedals. So I stopped driving for a little while.
Right.
But then that makes you, oh my God. So normally if I didn't have a car, you know, previously no car, I'd just get on the bike. At one point I had the kids in the back on, you know, in a little trailer. I used to cycle up to Aldi and cycle back with my shopping, and it wasn't a problem. But now, like, getting on a bike, no, and walking obviously became more and more challenging. So I ended up borrowing what those little scooters called, the electric scooters. You know, the little sit on ride on, you know, the ride on, ride on little electric car things, which were great because it got you, I could get uptown. But that again, I felt like my eldest son, who was at the time, I think he was probably about 12, and he was really embarrassed. But my youngest son thought, he was a couple of years younger, thought it was great. He'd sat on there, he'd steer it for me, and
oh bless. I think it's you've just got to, and like being a mother, you just got to make sure everybody's happy. But I've just got one son, and of course it all went, you know, when the marriage broke down and he took my son. So, but now as an adult, young adult, I mean, it's just amazing. Every time I see him, it just amazes me more. And this weekend, his girlfriend, she's lovely, Sonari, she was saying about because he's looking to get a job down in, ironically, in Worcester. Well, not in Worcester, but to live in Worcester. I said, that's full circle, because he was actually born in Worcester. And she said, yeah, Helena, that's fantastic. She said, we can all live in Worcester, which is true. I'd go back to Worcester in a heartbeat. I really would. So I've got friends down there. And she said, no, we can do it Asian style, because that's the way Asian people do. So I go and live with them. And, you know, when they have kids, I can look after the kids or not, as the case may be. I thought, what a great thing, thinking ahead. Which is amazing. You just don't get that these days. Not in young anyway. But no, they've got all the plans. I mean, she's trained to be a doctor. Bertie's going to go on now and do a PGDE to be a teacher, but teach adults really, I think. So engineering students, having just done an engineering degree himself. So what's it like to have bright kids?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. And how lovely that they want to share their life with you as well.
Exactly, exactly.
But then who wouldn't? Because you've just got so much life in you that
she just kept saying to me, my mum would love you, Helena. No, and she said, she sends the love. I've not met the lady, but she sends the love. Can't wait to meet her. So her dad's a doctor, and I think her mum's a dentist or.
I'm quite interested in talking to doctors and see what they think about things.
Well, she's trained to be a doctor. Yeah. And interestingly enough, before she even knew that I'd got multiple sclerosis, she was erring towards like multiple sclerosis and motor neurone.
All right.
Ironically. So but I don't think she gets quite the way that I'm sort of veering away from drugs, because she's new kid on the block, isn't she? Yeah. And so when I explained to her what happened to me recently, then she looked at me, she went, I said, yeah, don't say that. I said, I went through hell those 3 times.
Yeah, not again.
No. If I ever have to take drugs ever again, I'm going to have to go stay with somebody, because, you know, to go through that again on my own, I'll tell you, that's just...
No, not good.
No, it's not good. Not one little bit. But hey.
So what would you say to somebody that was like newly diagnosed with regarding to having MS? Because it is nobody wants it, do they?
No, they don't. Nobody asked for it. But I think, rightly or wrongly, I'd say don't rush into going down the drug route, because we all know there's money in it for powers that be, and it's like the same as I said before, you know, my body, my choice. And I think the thing is, it happens so quickly now. There are drugs available, because back in the day, when I first was diagnosed, there was that beta interferon. Do you remember when it was like a postcode lottery, wasn't it? Who could have it and who couldn't have it? Yeah. And I didn't want it anyway. But it's like, I can remember mum and dad all the time talking about beta interferon. And I just keep saying, look, mum, look, dad, when some drug comes out that can cure me, and my neurologist tells me that, I don't even read it in papers, but my neurologist tells me that, I'll listen. Until that time. And when you see things, you know, in the media and things about MS, and you read it and you think, really?
Well, I know, because they did all that stuff about the what is it, when they have the stem cell treatment.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And you know, because I remember my ex then, who said, oh, they've got this new treatment. I looked into it. I was like, fair enough, I'll have a look. But it was basically, for anybody that doesn't know, they take a stem cell sample, then they basically nuke your immune system.
Yeah, they give you chemo, don't they?
Yeah, with and then they replant it in, and it grows again, and supposedly without the MS. I don't know quite how it does that. But then when I've looked into it since, and people that have had it done, it's worked for a while.
Yeah,
and I guess if you were, you know, your symptoms were really, really bad and you've got a really progressive sort, then you'd be willing to try anything. But mine has been, although I can't walk very well now, it has been quite a gentle progression, really. I've not had any.
Mine too.
Yeah, so I recognise that I'm lucky, and recognise that actually both Helena and I are in a place where you know, we do feel grateful, but it's not been it's not been a linear journey of just like,
No
yeah,
way.
it's up and down, around, and you have to just keep reminding yourself and being grateful for what you've got.
Because what I'd say to you, what we were just discussing, that what I'd say to somebody that had just been diagnosed, what I would say to them is good diet, exercise, and PMA, positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
See me through.
Yeah,
See me
definitely.
through. So, you know,
Definitely.
anyway, the journey's not over yet.
No, absolutely. And also I think it's an opportunity, because I think that MS is, or any other like long-term illness, has come along because over a period of times we've been in balance, haven't we? There's been things that we've done or got up to or eaten or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not a blame game of you did this and I did this. It's just well, actually we need to rebalance. We need to start listening. We need to start noticing what's right for us and putting ourselves more to the top of the pile, because I think another thing that a lot of MS sufferers have is that everybody else's needs are more important than their own.
Yes, I know what you're saying, because I got offered some to see a psychologist, an MS psychologist here in Keighley, wherever, and so I went to, I think it was 6 sessions. I think it was the 4th session before we'd even mentioned multiple sclerosis. But at the end of the sessions, you know, the end of the 6th session, she was a lovely girl, but she was saying to me, the fact is that, like you just said, I don't ask anybody else for help. I feel really bad asking anybody for help in any way, shape or form. And I'm always the one that still gives help. You know, I used to be the taxi, and but I don't drive that much these days. I just drive into town and to the supermarket, and that's my lot. Not interested in anything else.
So it's learning to ask for help on MS. And on the whole, people like to help.
Yeah, of course they do. And I've got people that ring me every week, just check on me, how am I? You know, do you want to go out for a pint and a curry? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps you going and doesn't matter. I think it's the people in your life that don't see you as a disabled person. They just see you as you, because you're awesome.
Oh, you too.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I can't believe we've been talking for like 50 minutes. And
oh my goodness.
I know. Thank you so much for sharing some of your adventures. You talked about right at the beginning, before we came on, about life being in chapters. And you've talked about some of your chapters. You talked about your world travels, your various marriages, your son, and how
one marriage.
one marriage. Oh, the other partner. You know, making cakes and eating cakes, and just your perspective on having MS and how to live with it and how to embrace the challenges. And I'm thinking about Tilly, your walker, and actually, like, you know, let things help you open doors. You know, we don't have to do it all on our own. We don't have to be a stalwart person that does things, you know, we're allowed to be vulnerable. We're allowed not to be able to speak properly. Yeah.
But truth is, we're our own worst enemies.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got a lovely friend Sue. She only lives up the road. I can't tell you just how many people local to me here have got MS.
Really?
All women. But yeah, and some of them I've met recently. One I bumped into at Aldi car park, and she was struggling a bit with a trolley, and I'd got my cane before I had Tilly, and I sort of toddled alongside her and said, "You seem to be struggling there a bit." And I said, and I looked at her and I got my cane. I said, "Now I've got one of those." I said, what's your issue?" But she just said, "I've got MS." I went, "Oh my God, snap." And she'd only just been diagnosed at 51. No. I've got another friend in Halifax, same thing, a nurse, diagnosed at 51. And the first thing I did was I saw her online and realised that she was from near to me in Halifax. Straight in my car, we went over, we had coffee, and
it's just having that somebody there that gets it, that understands. Exactly.
But look, given that they've just been diagnosed, you know, to me that was the most important thing, that I went to spend time with them, just me and them. Whereas, you know, I've got other friends we were meeting up, and I didn't say, oh, well, come and meet this person, that person, be somebody newly diagnosed, to be thrust into a group of MS ladies, that'd be pretty scary, to be honest.
A little bit, yeah. So well done. Well done, you.
Yeah, I do my best.
Feel free to invite them into the MS Naturally group, and and right, so we're coming to the end now. So how I like to end these sessions is just with a little breathing exercise, a little bit of mindfulness, because this is something we can all practice in our lives, whether we've got MS or anything else, or whether we haven't. Because I think at the moment the world does feel like it's gone slightly crazy. We're coming out of one crazy thing into another one, and it's all too easy to get het up and caught up in everybody else's drama. So this is about really just connecting with ourselves, connecting with the earth, and just taking some nice big deep breaths. So take a nice big deep breath in, and then hold it for a second or two, and then gently release and hold the breath out. And another big deep breath in. And as you slowly allow your breathing just to take on a steady, slow rhythm, just focus on what you're grateful for right now, because gratitude is such a good power that we can all tap into. And even when things feel really hard and challenging, there's still good things going on. You can still look up and see the sky is blue. Blossoms on the trees right now, if you're in the UK, are just beautiful. Just a reminder that everything changes. That's the only constant. So just because we feel like this right now doesn't mean to say tomorrow we're going to feel it. We can feel different. We can feel different all the time. With every breath in and every breath out, we get that choice. As Helena said, it's her body, her choice. This is your breath, your choice. You can choose to see the world through a very scary set of eyes, or we can blink and look around and look for something different. Look for the blossom, look for the sky, look for the green grass, look for the smiles, look for the kids playing, look for happy women with their walkers, because it's just opening their world. And the fact that we've got all these tools that we can use, you know, that somebody's invented this amazing walker that's made of a really lightweight thing that you can sit on as well as walk with. It's like, yeah, who designed that? That's just great. I think to breathe all that wonder in, because we do live in a wonderful world. Let's just smile at it a bit more often. Take another last big deep breath in. Obviously, it's not last forever, because I do expect you to continue breathing. And just enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. And thank you again, Helena, for being here and sharing your story with us. And you're just such an inspiration and such good fun. So, yeah. I will.
This is my first Zoom meeting ever.
Yay! It's been good fun. And even Tilly got in on
a Zoom virgin.
In on the action.
Anymore. Lost my virginity now.
Easy now. We didn't want to end. Well, we'll end on a high. We'll end on that one.